I felt like such a failure. Like, I was so embarrassed at the fact that I had hyped my move up so much on social media, and then I was back in Merced a week later. Like, what's up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video, I am finally spilling the tea on what happened with my move to Portland. So I'm going to rewind a little bit and give you guys like a backstory on why I even moved out of the freaking state and all the juicy details. So let's get into it. So for those of you who don't follow me on Instagram, back in January, I decided to move to Portland for a couple months. I'm originally from California, and I had decided that I just needed change. And I just had such a negative mindset about being in my hometown. You know, I was born and raised in Merced. I've been here for 25 years. I've never lived anywhere else, and I just felt like I was so sick of being here. So I have a best friend who lives in Portland, and he's like, hey, come move with me, try it out. If you love it, you can stay. If you hate it, you can go home. And I originally wanted to go to LA, but LA is hella expensive and no one can afford LA right now. So I was like, you know what, Portland will do. It's a city, it's change, let's just do it. So I was gonna create a bunch of content. I was going to work on YouTube, and you know, I was just really excited to have my best friend out there and to help me with everything, especially the learning part when it came to editing. And then I was like, you know what, if those 3 months end and I really like it, I'm gonna stay. I'll work on getting my own place. If I hate it, I'll move somewhere else or I'll come back home. You know, that was just kind of what I was like thinking, like 3 months, and we'll just see where it goes from there. And oh, y'all, was I wrong about them 3 months, but whatever. So I'm going to tell you guys what happened from my experience. I never want to ever bash anyone on the internet. I never want to seem like I am talking negatively about anyone, but I am going to tell this story from my point of view and how I experienced things and why the hell I came home after 1 week in Portland. So, time for the tea. So the night before I was supposed to leave to Portland, I was finishing packing up some stuff and I was in excruciating pain. I'm super prone to cysts, and I'm not really gonna go into detail, but I was just like in so much pain and I kept ignoring it, and then it finally got to the point where I was like, oh my god, I can't take this pain anymore, like I need to go to the ER. So I ended up going to the ER and I had to have a minor procedure done, and it ended up being that I could not drive to Portland the next day. They're like, no honey, there's no way you're going to be able to drive 10 hours. So thankfully Bobby is an angel, and he drove me to Portland, and he just planned on flying back. Drove to Portland. We ended up getting there about 7 p.m., maybe like about 6-7 p.m. and me, Bobby, my best friend Carlos, and his roommate all went to dinner. Everything was fine. We were all vibing. You know, everything was good. And then the next morning we wake up, we drive Bobby to the airport so he can fly back home to Merced. I say my goodbyes to him. Carlos jumps in the front seat, and that day we had planned to like go grocery shopping, you know, get me some like shampoo, conditioner, bedding, just like stuff to settle into Portland. So Carlos jumps in the front seat, and I'm like super excited to get my day started. You know, it's my first day in Portland, and I look at him and he just gives me this look, and I'm like, what? And he's like, we have a problem. He's like, my roommate just texted me and said, hey Carlos, I will not state her name in this video because again, I'm not bashing her, I'm just telling the story on my experience. So she's just like, hey Carlos, I don't want to be the bad guy, but I don't think this is going to work. And my heart just drops because I'm like, I just uprooted my life from California to Portland. I packed up everything and I'm here. Like, what do you mean this isn't gonna work? Like, what? Like, my mind was just blown. So we had plans that day to like grocery shop, to like get me things as in like shampoo. And mind you, I don't even know what order to tell this story in. So mind you, everything was okay with his roommate. She knew I was gonna be staying there for 3 months. She was totally okay with that. I was gonna be paying rent to stay there. You know, all of that was kind of discussed. There was a few things that we didn't discuss as far as like where I was gonna sleep, which I thought that was like a given. Like, hey, you know, I'm gonna sleep in the living room. And another thing we didn't talk about was parking, which I'll talk about that a little bit later, because in cities you gotta pay for parking everywhere, and whew, that drained my bank account. Like, I basically was gonna start settling in that day, you know, it was gonna be basically my first full day there. And right off the bat, his roommate just like switches up and is just like, I can't do this. And I'm just like, what do we do? So she's at work and he's texting her like, well, what do you mean? And she's like, I just realized like I'm gonna have to give up my space, and she can stay for like a week or two, but not 3 months. And I'm just sitting there like, what? Because a city is super expensive. So I had planned on working a part-time job while I was out there. So I'm like, how the hell am I going to get a job for a week or two? Like, I can't just stay out here for 2 weeks not making money and just going through all of my savings. Like, I was just so stressed out. So she was at work. So I'm like, I don't want to grocery shop. Like, I don't want to settle in. Like, I don't want to unpack my things. Like, I don't even know if I'm staying here. Like, what the hell? So we decided to just go back to his apartment, and he's just texting her back and forth, and she's not budging. She's like, no, this just isn't gonna work. Like, I'm sorry, I don't want to be the bad guy, but I just didn't realize like that I was gonna have to share my space. And in my head, I'm just thinking like, did you think I was gonna come and like live in a corner? Like, what the hell? So we're just sitting on his bed. I have the worst headache because I'm just like stressed out of my mind of like the fact that I'm in another state and the person I'm supposed to be living with doesn't want me there. Like, it was just so uncomfortable. So she gets off work at 6 o'clock, and she tells him she wants to talk to him in the room alone. So I proceed to sit in his room by myself for like 45 minutes, just sitting there awkwardly, like knowing someone else is having a full-blown conversation about you in another room is just so uncomfortable. Like, I didn't even know what to do. I was just sitting there on my phone. So they talked it out, and the conclusion was she didn't want me staying in the living room because she didn't want to feel like she couldn't live her normal life. Whatever, that's fair, you know, it's your apartment. I wish you would have discussed this with us sooner, but it is what it is. So that was kind of just like the first hiccup with Portland, and it kind of just set the tone and just made it super uncomfortable because it's like, how am I gonna live somewhere for 3 months where I don't feel welcome? So she came in the room and she kind of was like, just let me know how she felt, and I felt like it was a good conversation. You know, we're adults, we can talk things out. And she just kind of said that she had been sharing her space for a while and she kind of didn't want to do that anymore. So I was just basically moving into my best friend's room, and mind you, this is a downtown apartment, so the rooms aren't very big. So me and Carlos were just like, whatever, we'll make it work. We move all of my stuff into his room, and we realized there's not even room for a bed. So we literally are like, all right, we're sleeping feetsies, like opposite ways. He reorganized his closet to make room for my stuff. Like, we made it work. We're like, you know what? It's not the most ideal situation, but we can make it work. And I was just like, okay, whatever. So we were basically crammed in this little room. And then I found out about parking, which was something me and my best friend did not discuss. So I feel like we equally take blame because we were just so excited about me going out there that we didn't discuss little things like city parking. If you're not from a city, you don't know that you have to pay for parking everywhere. Not so much in some areas, but the fact that he lived right smack in downtown Portland, like everywhere around his place, you had to pay for parking, and it was about $18 a day. So parking $18 a day was gonna be about $500 a month on top of the $400 rent I was gonna be paying. So I'm like $900 a month for just parking and living. Like, that's not including food, that's not including anything. I was just like mind blown, like, oh my God, I can rent a whole ass apartment in Merced for $900. Like, so that was kind of the second thing that was just like, whew, this is gonna be hard, but whatever. Let's make it work. So I went up there on the weekend, and those 2 days my best friend Carlos had it off. So it was kind of nice to have his company, but then he went back to work, and I just felt so depressed and so lonely out there. Like, I literally can't even explain how sad I felt. Like, I woke up in the morning and I tried getting ready and I just couldn't. Like, I was just so sad. Like, I just was not feeling it. Like, it just did not feel right for me being out there. So he gets home later that night, and we start planning out what content we're going to create, like what times, because he works at 9 to 5. And then we realized he really doesn't have that much time to help me with things. So I was basically going to be on my own out there. He goes into work 9 to 5. He gets off work. He works out until like 6:30 or 7. So again, I think I was just so excited to move out of Merced that these are the little things I didn't think about. I didn't think about like the fact that he had a job, and then I was possibly going to get a part-time job, and so many things lined up, and I realized, like, oh my God, Ash, what did you get yourself into? Like, what the hell were you thinking? I was like day number 3 or 4 when we realized he really did not have as much time for me as I thought. and we basically could only create content on the weekends, and then Monday through Friday he's extremely busy. So I was like, okay, whatever. So by that time I was kind of thinking, like, was I meant to come out here? Was this a huge mistake? I'm blowing through a crazy amount of money already, paying for parking, you know, buying all the stuff I need to just settle into Portland. And then the final whammy happened. The final thing that just like the straw that broke the camel's back. So one morning I'm FaceTiming my friend Des, and I go outside to get my car and it's missing. And I'm walking up and down every street, like, where did I park it? Like, oh my God, like, did someone steal my car? I start calling all these towing places. No one has my car. I FaceTime Carlos. I'm crying at this point. I'm asking random people on the street, have you seen a white Honda? Have you seen a white Honda? And everyone's like, no. Just looking at me like I'm freaking insane because I'm crying. I'm dressed like a hobo because I haven't changed out of my pajamas. So then finally, I'm like, dude, my car got stolen in Portland. I'm screwed. Like, I literally was about to have a mental breakdown. Like, at that point, I was like, I just ruined my life. So finally, I called to make a police report, and I think they have like a better database. I think they like searched it, and they were like, no honey, your car was towed. So, and that was like the best news. Even though my car was towed, I was just so happy that it wasn't stolen, because having your car stolen in another state, I was like, how do I even get home? How do I get around? So I called the tow place, and they towed it about 30 minutes away from Portland, and they're like, honey, you didn't read the sign? And I'm like, no, I'm not a city girl. I just seen the big print, like free parking 10 to 6. And she's like, oh no, the small print, you couldn't park there from like 9 to 1 or something like retarded, on like 9 to 1 on a Monday. Like, I don't know, it was just like the dumbest thing. And I was just like, oh my God, I am not a city girl. Like, I cannot wait to take my ass back to my small town. I will never move to a city again. So I wait for my friend Carlos to get off work. He drives me to the tow place, and then I pay $400 to get my car out of the tow place. And then on top of that, I got an $85 ticket. So $485 just to get my car out. So I was just amazed. In literally 5 days in Portland, I spent over $1,000 on parking, towing, food, and just like random stuff. Like, I literally was like, if I spent over $1,000 in 5 days, if I stay here another week, I'm literally going to be eating top ramen for the rest of my life. So I think that kind of just pushed me over the edge. And during that time, all I was doing was texting my friends from Merced. I literally was FaceTiming them, texting them, like telling them everything that was going on. And they were just like, oh my God, Ash, bring your ass home. So then I decided to pack up all of my stuff the next morning and drive my ass back home. And that is kind of what happened in Portland. And it was just the craziest learning experience of my life. So I'm super thankful for it though. During that week that I was there were days where I was like, you know what, maybe I'm supposed to be out here. Maybe I'm supposed to overcome all of these challenges. Maybe this is meant to make me a stronger, better person. And now that like this whole coronavirus quarantine thing happened, I know I wasn't meant to be out there, because either way I would have had to come back to Merced, because even if I got a part-time job out there, it would have closed. I wouldn't have been making money. I wouldn't have been able to afford to stay out there, and I wouldn't have wanted to be out there during this quarantine, so I would have came home. So now looking back, I know I made the right decision, but during the time, like while it was all happening, I felt so embarrassed, you know. I was like, oh my God, I hyped this up so much. I put it on social media. Hundreds of thousands of people are going to get to watch me fail at my move. And oh, trust me, you guys, that 10-hour drive home, I cried. I sang my heart out. I was like, what the hell is life? But you know, I got home and I did a lot of self-reflection. Like, I stayed off Instagram for like a week, and I just realized, you know what? I am okay with everyone getting to watch me fail at everything I try, because at least I tried. You know, I will never look back in life and be like, wow, I wonder what would have happened if I moved to Portland. Like, hell no. I know what happened, and I'm so glad to be back. And like I said when I started this video, I had such a negative mindset when it came to my hometown, and when I got back I realized how much love I have here, and now I have a whole new appreciation for my town. I have so much love and support here. It's insane. I'm so thankful, you know. I grew my Instagram to over 100K and I'm so proud of that, but my initial following, my first like 3,000 followers were from the 209, were from my area, and that means so much to me. So now I feel like I just love Merced so much. I'm constantly promoting people from my town who have talent or from my area, who I feel like are kind of chasing dreams the way I am. So that whole experience, it was something else. Like, honestly, it's something that I will remember forever. I always talk about like looking back in life and not having regrets. And when I'm 50, I'm gonna be like, God damn, like, remember when I was wild and moving to fucking Portland out of state and thought I could just move states like it was nothing, and I had just had the biggest wake up call of my life. But everything that I am is because everything that I've been through in life, and that just added to more wisdom to me, I think. Like, now if I ever move anywhere, there are going to be so many little details that I plan out for myself. I'm not just gonna jump. Like, let me just pack up my stuff, save some money, and go. And that's kind of just what I did. And that's not how you move out of state. So definitely, if I could give you guys advice on moving out of state, I would definitely say plan out details more, figure out what cost of living is out there, because that is something I didn't even think of. I was like, oh, I'll pay rent, I'll buy my food, I'll get a little part-time job, I'll be good. Hell no. Like, I spent so much money. I could have went on like a cool little vacation. I could have bought myself hella clothes. Like, yeah, it was just a mess. But I feel like I have such a better appreciation for everything. I feel like my friendships got stronger because all I wanted to do when I got back to Merced was hang out with friends. I just didn't appreciate all the love and all the support and all the amazing people I had in Merced. Not even just people that I see on a daily basis, but even just some of my followers on Instagram who are from my town. Like, you guys clap for me every single day, and that means so much to me. So I'm definitely so thankful for the crazy experience I had in Portland. And I don't ever want it to come off like I'm blaming Carlos's roommate or anything. It was just the whole experience of being in Portland. That 1 week, I feel like so much negative stuff happened, and it just all piled on top of each other, and I was like, hell no, let's go home. And when I got back to Merced, I was so happy to park wherever I wanted without having to pay. I was so excited to not have traffic and crazy freeways. Like, I literally know now I'm not a city girl. I can be a city girl if I'm like rich as hell and I have drivers and all that good stuff. A lot of you asked me what happened in Portland, so I kind of wanted to do a quick summary YouTube video to let you guys know what happened, because again, I felt like it was such a failure, and it's so intimidating sometimes putting yourself out there and putting your life out there for people to like judge and criticize. So, I was terrified to announce that I was back in Merced, just because like fear of judgment and stuff. But then I got over it really quick, because it's like, what? Everyone goes through trials and tribulations. I just choose to put mine out on social media. And, for anyone out there who chooses to judge, you're kind of an asshole and we're probably not friends. And for those of you guys who are kind, and so many of you guys sent me messages like, it's okay, like, you tried it. And I'm so thankful for you guys. Like, seriously, like, when it comes to social media, I always appreciate love and positivity, because it's like I said, it's intimidating putting yourself out there. So when you have people you don't even know who are clapping for you and telling you, like, at least you tried, good job, and all that stuff, like, it means a lot. It really does. So I just want to thank you guys all so much, for my new YouTube supporters, to my followers on Instagram, to my new followers, to anyone who supports me in any way. I just want to thank you guys with all of my soul. It seriously means so much to me. I am going to continue to post my life and what I'm doing and things I'm trying. And if I fail, that sucks. But if I succeed, that's cool. And you guys get to watch, So I hope this was an entertaining story for you guys. I feel like I told it so fast, and I feel like I didn't even get to cover all of the points that I wanted to cover. But I feel like everything in that week happened so fast that I feel like I can't even like explain every detail if I tried. But yeah, fun times. Fun times. So yeah, so now I'm back in Merced and I have no plans on leaving. Well, I can't. We're freaking quarantined. How crazy is that? But one of the things that I came back to Merced with was a new mindset, and I realized like I was so dependent on that move. And oh, my friend's gonna help me edit. Oh, my friend's gonna help me edit. I don't know how to edit. So kind of depending on someone else to do that. I realized like, no, if I want to do YouTube, if I want to create good content for Instagram, if I want to really accomplish the goals that I have in mind, I have to step up and I have to do it myself. So, you know, I came back, I started watching a bunch of editing videos on YouTube, and I really just got my shit together basically. And that was one of the really good things that I learned from Portland. I wanted to do YouTube more than anything on this earth, but I didn't have the courage to really step up and do it myself until I got back from Portland, and I realized like, okay, there's no one else who's gonna help you. Like, if you want this, you have to do it. So here I am doing the damn thing. So I'm really thankful for it all. So I hope you guys enjoyed this crazy little story time. I'm definitely going to be talking to you guys about more of my personal experiences and just things that I went through, how I've overcame them, and what I learned from them. In every single person's life, you go through things, and you can't look at it in a sense of like, why did this happen to me? You know, I could have left Portland with the, oh my God, why was that trip so bad? Why did this happen to me? And not learn anything from it. But I chose to be like, wow, that was a crazy trip. What was life trying to teach me? And I feel like because I've changed my mindset that way, I took it as a learning lesson of it. You have to figure out how to do things yourself. You can't be dependent or reliant on anyone to help you accomplish your dreams. If you want it, you got to do it yourself. So super thankful for that lesson. So I'm gonna wrap this video up. Thank you guys again for watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down below, and I will be back very soon with another video.